Welcome to Verbal Pick Radio, where we give you a verbal image of life, and we are every day. People like to welcome you all to the show. If you notice that we didn't do a show yesterday, reason being we were in Lafayette, Louisiana, with the N.F.A.C. Protest, right? Now, the protest, it comes, and this is coming out the Daily Advisor, right? The protest comes in response to a threat made by Higgins, which is a representative of Lafayette, Louisiana, regarding protests in Lafayette following the death of Rayford Pellerin, a 31-year-old black man who was fatally shot by Lafayette police responding to a reported disturbance involving a man with a knife at a North Lafayette gas station August 21st, right? Now, his parents were there, and I talked to his parents, and they basically were telling me that they said that he shot himself while he was handcuffed. They said he ran into a tree in a car. I mean, all kind of stories surrounding this incident, but yet the boy was beat up badly. And they lied. And the people knew that they lied. So while we were there, the N.F.A.C. and Grandmaster Jay was calling out Clay Higgins, saying, okay, we here after the threat that Clay Higgins made on the life of Grandmaster Jay. I'm going to read that to you. The N.F.A.C.'s demonstration comes in response to a Facebook post made by Higgins threatening to shoot armed protesters who were gathering in response to Pellerin's death, according to the coalition's leader, John Fitzgerald Johnson, who is known by his nickname Grandmaster Jay. In the post, Higgins said if armed protesters showed up, they would be considered a real threat. Me, and this is Higgins, I wouldn't even spill my beer. I'd drop any 10 of you where you stand. He wrote, now this is coming from a city official. We don't care what color you are. We don't care if you're left or right. If you show up like this, if we recognize threat, you won't walk away. Now, this is Higgins, city official. Higgins' post, which included a picture of the N.F.A.C., was posted the same day protesters and a majority white armed group, the Louisiana Cajun Militia, gathered outside Lafayette City Hall during a protest organized to call for justice and accountability in Pellerin's death. Johnson said earlier this week on former Lafayette Councilman Kenneth Boudreaux's podcast that Higgins' post warrants a public apology from the congressman. You're going to apologize to me, and you're going to apologize to my organization. If you choose not to do it, then we're going to come to your town and make it so uncomfortable for your constituents. They're going to beg you to apologize to me, Johnson said, right? Higgins and Johnson have since spoken, but Johnson said he expects a public apology from Higgins. So I was there, and Grandmaster Jay called Higgins out and called for the apology. He was there, brought the militia there. There was no Higgins. When I say brought the militia there, I mean the N.F.A.C., the black militia were there. Now, there were some Proud Boys there, some 3%ers there, right? At the gathering at the Park San Suchi. And so check out my personal experience, right? So I was with the press, because Verbal Radio, we had came there to cover the whole story, and we had access to it, and we talked to Grandmaster Jay, and he basically was telling us, we can, do a story on it, but actually we were bird dogging them around the area. And I went to take a seat at Park Sansuchi, which was kind of, I guess, about 50 yards away from where everyone else was at. So while I was sitting down, this group, they were all wearing a mask over their faces. It was a mask of the flag over their faces. And they had their guns, and it was, I guess you could say it was about 20 to 25 to 30 of them. And the guy approached me, and he said, well, is Vernon over there? And I'm like, I don't know Vernon. I said, I don't know of Vernon, right? And I'm thinking, I'm sitting by myself surrounded by some Proud Boys and some 3% white militia, right? But some brothers happened to see me over there by myself, so they kind of came in the area with their guns, right? Their long rifles, AR-15s and whatnot, right? And so the white guy gets on the phone, and he says, yes, a bunch of them, about 20 or so of them at the park with their guns, but they're wide open. They're out in the open, right? And in my mind was like, wow, are they saying that these guys out in the open, that they got an easy target, right? But I guess they didn't see the formation that was gathering at the Lafayette Library with the rest of the N.F.A.C. members, because majority of the ones that were at the park were part of a black motorcycle gang, and they had their weapons. And some of the No Limit Posse motorcycle gang was there as well, right? And some of them came over where I was at, and they're assessing the situation. But I mean, I wasn't worried. I'm sitting down like, man, you don't understand. It's a different day. This is not 1950s and 60s. This is a total different black power, right? So here comes the N.F.C. I mean, waves and waves and waves of brothers with long rifles, right, coming, right? But the symbolic message was, because the little 20 and 30 that the white militia could muster up was not even in comparison to the wave of black militia that ascended on downtown Lafayette. They couldn't even deal with it. The look on their face was like they couldn't believe it, because they're so used to being the bully and setting fright and intimidation with the black citizens in Lafayette. When they saw a group that was larger and had more guns than what they had to really assess the situation, and they left. Right, even though apparently some went up on rooftops, but that was still a moot point, because if you fired one shot from that rooftop, all of those ARs and AK-47s aimed in that location would have chopped everything up. We was in a no-win situation, and it was shocking to them. And I don't think they knew how to handle that, because, when you have that supremacist bully mentality, and you've been running rapid and scaring the citizens of that town for so long, and then one day you realize, as Grandmaster Jay say, that you realize, wow, it's no fun when the rabbit has the gun. And there was thousands of rabbits with guns. And they like, okay. Because it's real. And he said, look, you got to stop. And this coming from Grandmaster Jay. You have to stop coming to these protests with picket signs and songs. You come into a gunfight with a picket sign and a song. You're not going to get any respect, for one. And you're not going to win if something jump off, right? So when you go out and protest, leave the picket signs and guns alone. Now I'm going to play for you some of the speech that was given that day at the rally. But we still want justice for Rayford Pellerin. Still want justice for that. Didn't get the apology from Clay Higgins, right? But there was a show of solidarity and a show of unification and a spirit and the energy that's not just saying it, but showing that black people is not taking racism no more around the globe. I don't care where you at. You think you high and mighty and you want to treat the darker skinned people in Brazil as less than, they're not taking it. They're not taking it in Mexico. They're not taking it in Africa with the Chinese. They're not taking it in Africa with the colonizers coming out of Europe. Now claiming that they're South Africans. And throughout, people are not taking it no more. That day, that day is over with, right? People are fed up, and they're not filing for it no more. It's over. But I want y'all to listen to some of the speech that took place by Grandmaster Jay this past Saturday in Lafayette, Louisiana.
Was it great during Jim Crow? No, we couldn't even come to the front door. No. Was it great during the 70s when we started to get our shit together? No, because...
Hold on, let me play that right back for y'all. Because you gotta hear it. You gotta hear it. Here we go.
Was it great during Jim Crow? No, we couldn't even come to the front door. No. Was it great during the 70s when we started to get our shit together? No, because then they hit us in the 80s with crack. Maybe it was in the 90s when everything was great because they figured out how they could make money off our rap music and turn it into some negative shit that brainwashes our kids now. And some of y'all ain't got no goddamn morals because you programmed by the music that's not controlled by us.
Talk, black man.
Maybe it happened in 2000 after 9/11 and they snatched all our goddamn liberties and now they tell you when to go to bed, when to wake up, what you can and can't do. Maybe it was then. No, it wasn't then. Maybe it was shit it never was. It ain't never been great for black people in this country. Stop telling us that goddamn lie. And don't act like it happened so long ago. It was only 156 years ago. That's 2 lifetimes. You can't fix 400 years of fucking people over in 150 years.
Tell them, black man. Tell them, black man.
Going off because I'm not saying it was out of frustration. It's a message to right the ills and the wrongs that's been perpetrated on the people for over 400 years, and they bagged the people in the corner because you took advantage of their good graces. When Dr. King wanted to hold hands and love with the oppressor, they should have took him up on it. But no, you laughed at him and you killed him. Black people, when Malcolm was giving the message, you should have jumped on it and rolled with Malcolm, right? But now we dealing with it all today, right? They showed you that we really don't want to be your friends. Now, let me take that back. Some white people understand the situation, and they're like, look, in order for my kids to survive, your kids to survive, let's come together, let's build, and hey, let's end this racism because it's not working. We won't admit that we were forced to come together due to certain circumstances, but we'll hold face and just say, hey, let's come together for the greater benefit of good, right? No, but in the back of your mind, that black people are growing and they're tired and they're not taking no shit no more. Now you realize that, but however you word it, so the end result is peace and unification between the races. If that can happen, okay, so be it. But you do have that segment who are starched. They are not going to unite with black folks. They believe in their old-fashioned ways. It's been passed down for generation to generation. And in their mindset, warped mindset, they feel like they in the right. They feel like it's their Christian duty. I mean, you got them that really feel that way. So it leads us to where we're at now. You know, that leads us to where we're at today. And it don't make sense. You know, I wish it wasn't like that, but it is. But I guess what I'm trying to say is, black people, you got to stand up and take care of yourself. Nobody's going to do it for us.
Social media.
Come on.
The N.F.A.C. on social media is misrepresented. Oh, they said we're terrorists. Oh, they said we have to kill the white
Black
people.
unity is revolutionary.
Oh, they said that we are FBI operation. Oh, they said we a bunch of agents. I don't know what the fuck kind of agents freeze black people. But I want y'all to know something. Black people, we were created for you, by you, to protect you, to police you, to educate you on firearms, and to educate you on when you can carry a weapon like this in the face of the police and they can't do a damn thing about it. People always say, well, y'all ain't fired a shot yet, because ain't nobody ever shot at us. No, y'all missed that shit went right over your head. No one has ever attempted to attack the N.F.A.C. And I don't give a shit what they say. It still ain't happened. So, when the good congressman said he would kill me and drop 10 of my people, make my mama cry. Mama called me, y'all. My mama said, she said they gonna kill you. I said, Mama, she said, go knock them out. To have a sitting U.S. congressman say that about legally armed U.S. citizens practicing their constitutional rights, I could not believe that a person from the government said that about a citizen of the...
See, you had to be there, right, to witness and see the energy and the compassion of the people who, in their hearts and minds, are fed up with injustice. They fed up with the racism. You know, they fed up with the systematic racism, the systemic racism, racism within just as simple as going to a store and dealing with a damn clerk, and you in the store to spend your money, and some of these white supremacists think that they're talking in code or they're talking above our heads, that we don't understand that racist language, right? But what we have to do is go get the manager, right? File suit, go get the manager. You know, don't deal with the peon clerks, and you know, because they think they so smart that they're talking over your head and you don't understand what they're doing. It's not the fact that a lot of us don't understand what you're doing. It's just that we was trying to do everything to avoid confrontation. We were trying to extend the hand of peace first and hoping you would accept it, but they kept slapping our hands down. Slap your hand down. I don't value you. I don't see you as my equal. I don't see you as a human being. You know, I don't want you next to me. I mean, but on the flip side of that is, I find a pool, right? Well, I find an area where it's just plenty white people, right? And I just go get in the pool. And I sit back and watch slowly how all of them leave. They get their girls and they get their sons and they get their wives and they leave as if I'm interested in any of them. But that's cold. But I didn't understand why does this happen whenever a black person goes somewhere? It could be at a park, and you bring your child to play at a park, and then you start noticing white folk, they start leaving. A lot of them start taking their children out the park, and you look around, it's just be you at the park. You got that the park was full of people, but when you and your child came, it dwindles down about a couple of stayed because they got to put the child to sleep, and some don't even recognize the racism because there are some white people, a few that don't even deal in racism, right? But for the most part, for the majority though, they leave, right? And I figured it out, right? See, imagine this, right? Clear blue skies. Weather is nice, right? I mean, just nice. I mean, one of those picture perfect days. You know how you could remember a similar day when you were younger playing, and you see that same type of day with the same type of nice breeze, and it's implanted in your memory. But what they don't want is that child to grow up remembering how gorgeous the day was, and that black face or that black person also now becomes a part of that picture, right? So now that black person is associated with a good day at the park, and as the child scans the perimeter of the park and see all the smiling faces there, that becomes their new picture of reality. So what the racist parent does is, what the child will remember is, you were having fun, you were enjoying yourself until a black person come. And they say, damn, every time a black person come, the day is ruined. And they do that on purpose. But they think we don't know that though. You see what I'm saying? And so we got to the point to where we don't give a damn long as our children, and long as we are having a good time and enjoying life. That's all that matters. Because it's a public park. We're not there for you anyway. We're there to bond with our family and our loved ones. We're not there to bond with you. Now, back in the day, we might have had some leaders who wanted us all to get along and hold hands and whatnot. And we tried that, and I believe that was the right thing to do, because you have to put it out there first. Okay, well, let's try this then. Okay, we trust and we respect you, and if you said it's gonna work, then we would try it. Come on, let's see how this goes. Hey, how y'all doing? You had a nice day? Oh, look at your child, y'all. They're so sweet. Oh, that's nice. Oh, yeah, hey, I hope they have a good time, right? And then with the response is, we don't want to be around you. We wish you weren't here, and we're going to take our children, and we're going to get out of here. I'm like, okay, well, we tried. Okay. Now, enjoy yourself. Take your child to the park. Take your child to the swimming pool, and let them see, hey, you got so much power that when you enter into a place, that reflection of your power is so great that people just gotta leave. They can't stand around being such illuminating light. That brain power of yours is so strong. Watch how you clear the pool. Watch how you clear this park area. Man, you are so great. So magnificent. That's how you gotta be with your children. You don't be like, oh, there they go again, racist. We come, everybody leave. No. Thank you for leaving. I really appreciate that, for giving me this quiet time with my family. Thank you again. You all are the sweetest people on the planet. You know what I mean? Hey, you gotta do what you gotta do. And then and to enjoy this pathetic, sad excuse of a society. And the only reason why I said it is because of this presidential election that's coming up. And when people say you have to vote for the lesser of two evils, either you voting for bad Satan or good Satan, as though it's such a thing. It's wild, y'all. But I want you all to look up the Rayford Pellerin case in Lafayette, Louisiana. And I also want you all to stay involved and stay in contact with the Jennifer Jeffrey case. Research the Jennifer Jeffrey case because she's still alive and she's suffering injustice. And we got an obligation and a duty to do right by her. And I'm telling you all again, this is an order. Research the Jennifer Jeffrey case and figure out what you can do to send her home. Verbal Pick Radio, we're out.